from the finest high school basketball field house in the world. I'm not going to pick a fight between the Seymour and Newcastle folks as to which one is the best in the world or the largest, but it's a great place to watch basketball. Bedford, North Lawrence, Mishawaka, Marian, Game 1 of the Raymond James Hall of Fame Classic here in Newcastle. Thanks for joining us on the ISC Sports Network, Comcast 81 statewide as well. Alongside Mike Broughton, my name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you so much for joining us. Mike, you see the best teams, the best players across the state in both boys and girls basketball in your job as the game director for the Indiana All-Stars. Your thoughts on these two teams heading into our first of two this morning?
Well, I've got to see both of them play. Bedford's got the duo of Spring and Norman. They're both very, very good players. They're both Division I players. Norman's going to Butler. And then on the other side, Mishawaka Marian started the season number 1 in 3A. The Porter girl got hurt. She hurt her knee last spring, and so she hasn't been able to play so far. But they have a young lady, Miss Foster, who's averaging about 27 points a game, and she's going to have to get hot early to keep them in the game.
What is it? And again, you live in Seymour. Your legendary coaching days in Jeffersonville, the 30th anniversary of the boys basketball state championship there. So you have coached against the Stars. You know the folks in Bedford very well. We're going on 3 decades, if not longer, of they are great in girls basketball every year. How have they gotten this done in Lawrence County?
Well, they've only had a couple coaches for one thing. They've kept coaches 10 or 12 years. Coach Allen's done a great job. He was assistant for Damon Bailey when they won the state championship. And then you can go way, way back when they won the state back in the 80s. And so it's been about a 30-year run, and they're here again today.
Again, Bedford North Lawrence will be the visiting team for today's game. Mishawaka Marian will be the home team for today's contests. Looks like we'll have our national anthem first, so with that, let's step aside. We'll come back and bring you our starting lineups, our officials for today's contest. Back in a moment as you're watching the Raymond James Hall of Fame Classic right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
the home of Hoosiers,
where legends live.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
a giant field house
and basketball courts in every park.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
family
and friends
and team
and fans.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
memories
and history
and future
and hope.
Basketball
lives
here.
Basketball lives here in Henry County, Indiana.
Our national anthem wrapping up here in Newcastle. Again, before our first of 2 semifinals. Bedford North Lawrence and Mishawaka Marian. Game number 2, the defending 4A champions in Noblesville, as they will take on East Central, a team that, frankly, Bedford North Lawrence runs into a great deal when it comes to the regional and now potentially even the semi-state level of the tournament. First, our 3 officials being honored and recognized for today's contest. Bryce Barton, DJ Henkel, and Darby Cinders will be our 3-man officiating crew for today's game. After that, we'll have the presentation of the entirety of the rosters for each of these 2 teams. And again, as you can tell, this tournament is a little bit different. Officials get a plaque for working every game. You get extra games in your schedule to play in this event. You can only play in this event once every 4 years. There are obviously so many wonderful holiday tournaments. We're broadcasting 3 today alone on the ISC Sports Network. But, Mike, there is nothing like this event.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame tournament sets up the best of the best. And many of these teams will end up making big runs in the state tournament. In fact, last year, Mr. Smith was Mr. Basketball, and he got that because of his play here in the Hall of Fame when they beat Cathedral. And so a lot of things happen today that is good and bad for the future of these basketball teams. But the best thing about it, like you said, is it's 2 extra games, and they have an advantage. It's been that way for I think around 40 years, and hopefully it'll continue. And
obviously this tournament has been played at various sites in its earliest incarnations, but with the opening of the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame next, or in the early 90s, it has now been 3 decades that we have had this tournament here at the largest and finest high school field house in the world. I'm literally reading that off the wall over Mike's shoulder as we speak. Time now for the starting lineups. They are presented by Virtual Announcer. Aaron Pittman and Virtual Announcer make your game day experience the absolute best it can be by hiring Aaron. And if he can't be there, he'll be your virtual announcer. That's for any sport, not just hoops. Find out more and just how affordable it can be at Virtual Announce on social, or by calling Aaron at 317-800-0612. Starters are about to be introduced, but Mike, as you pointed out in the last segment, Chloe Spreen, Carson Norman, they drive the engine for Jeff Allen's Bedford North Lawrence Stars. Carson played on the Junior All-Stars this past summer in a game at Bedford North Lawrence High School that we broadcast on ISC. Frankly, she is a likely Indiana All-Star this coming year. You referenced the fact she's going to play for Austin Parkinson at Butler. It's she and Chloe Spreen. Everybody else kind of play off that duo for Bedford.
Yeah, those two. Norman is really one of the toughest players in the state. In fact, she can break every press. And in girls basketball, when they start pressing and stuff, there's lots of turnovers, but not with Norman. She can handle the pressure. In fact, they've won the sectional the last 3 years. They've been behind all 3 years in the sectional final, and they come back and win. And it's because Norman can get the ball in places that most teams, the girls, cannot.
Rounding out the starting 5, Chloe Spreen, Carson Norman, Mallory Pride, Madison Bailey, and Emma Brown. Those are the 5 leading scorers. In fact, in terms of bench points, usually no more than 2 or 3 a game for Bedford North Lawrence, especially playing the level of competition in which they are today. Now for the Knights of Mishawaka Marian. Again, Nevaeh Foster leads them at just shy of 27 points a game. 3 double-digit per game scores for the Knights. Foster at 27 a contest, Aaliyah Hirschberger at 11.5, Shayla Alexander at 10. Really, it is a 7-player rotation for Mishawaka Marian. Neither team will go that deep into their roster today.
No, I don't think they can afford to, because I think this is going to be a really competitive game, and that's kind of a problem in the Hall of Fame, because you got to come back in about 5 hours and play again, especially the team that loses. It's a tough for them.
Krista Porter, the first starter being introduced by the public address voice of this event in Chad Nickum. Grace O'Hara introduced to the crowd here as well. So Hirschberger and Nevaeh Foster joining the starting 5 for Mishawaka Marian. Mike, final thoughts before this one goes live?
No, I think that's going to be a close game. I think Foster's really got to play here at the beginning to keep Marian going. Bedford's got a little room because sometimes it's Spreen, sometimes it's Norman, and they have a good supporting cast. I think Bedford's one of 4 or 5 teams in 4A that can win the state championship this year.
Yeah, Bedford is 13-2. Their 2 losses, both teams from the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, and one that we'll see next. So Noblesville went and played in Bedford's holiday tournament last week. The 2 teams could play again coming up in the championship or consolation game tonight. And we thank you for joining us here on the ISC Sports Network, and those of you watching statewide on Comcast 81.
Yeah, Marian starts out in a 2-3 zone. It's a real wide zone. They have size on the inside. That's one of the things that Bedford struggles with sometimes is, Bedford's not very big. Most of them are 5'8", 5'9"-ish.
Yeah, the losses for Bedford to Noblesville last week on their home floor. Spot up 3 that is left short, but the long rebound tracked down by Madison Bailey, and then a reach-in foul. Going to be called against believe Nevaeh Foster. Nope. It'll be Krista Porter that will pick up the foul call, her first, and team foul number first. The other loss for Bedford North Lawrence happened on ISC. Happened at the Sneakers for Santa event in Brownsburg when Layla Hull and Zionsville defeated the Stars by 15 and a turnover. First of the game for Bedford North Lawrence. That is something they rarely do. Of all the stats that catch your attention for the Stars, they commit less than 9 turnovers a game. Here's Foster, where so much of the offense is going to run through her. She has Carson Norman tracking her every move so far. Alexander can put it on the dribble. It was deemed that she bobbled the catch. Deliberate possession for Marian. Unfortunately, a turnover as Porter couldn't make the post catch. Bedford North Lawrence last played 7 days ago as that wing three is good. Emma Brown. 6 points of contest for Emma. 5th leading scorer, first to make a jump shot for the Stars. Bedford has a team 31% from 3 and just under 6 threes a game.
Now, Bedford, they live on the man-to-man there. They're going to trap any ball screen. That really bothered Marian on that play. They didn't know about the trap, so Bedford gets a basket, a good basket off their defense.
Both these teams generate offense from their defense. Bedford averages over 12 steals a game. Stars race out to a 5-0 lead, and that will be steps, and so make it 3 trips and 3 turnovers so far for Mishawaka Marian.
Yeah, the question is if Bedford can rebound the ball when the ball's shot by Marian, but if they don't ever shoot it, I think they're in good shape. But a good start by Bedford, especially against this zone and using their defense to score baskets.
It is a zone, but an aggressive zone. But if you're going to be aggressive, you're going to leave spots in the corner. Last on the other side was made by Brown. That one does not go. And rebounding out of the zone, a problem so far. That's the 2nd offensive rebound so far for the undersized Bedford squad. Bailey lets fire. That does not go. And this time, Shayla Alexander able to track down the loose ball, and she will lead the break for Mishawaka Marian. Step through, couldn't finish. Porter grabs the weak side glass.
Alexander's very athletic, took it the distance, 84 feet. She's a hard match. They have Bailey guarding her, number 23.
Deep, high, arcing 3. Misses everything, however. Nevaeh Foster, who averages 7 boards a game to go along with those 27 points, gets the first Marian bucket nearly 3 minutes in.
She's very active, and she just beat Norman to the rebound that time.
At the elbow, that's Spreen, the leading scorer, 5'10 junior. Low block, working her way around and scoring. That is Mallory Pride. Pride, a 5'9 senior, 3rd leading scorer for the Stars at 9 points and 6 rebounds a game. She shoots 54% from the floor.
So you're going to trap the ball screens. That's what Marian has to be ready for. Foster got herself out of it. Nice pass to the inside.
That was a great change of mind from pass to shot, even if Porter could not connect. Stars push the tempo. Spot up 3 in the corner. Brown now 1 of 3 after making her first one, but that's a 3rd offensive rebound for the Stars so far. Spreen, the benefactor, and how about sharing the wealth? 4 different players have a bucket for Bedford.
Great passing by Bedford on their offense against the zone. They're doing a great job getting it to people like Brown. She's 1 for 3 from 3. She shoots 25%, but she believes she can make it. That's the important thing.
Good turn, and just couldn't make the shot at Alexander. Like that post move, though, for the 5'10 senior. Look ahead pass, the take, no. Another offensive rebound, and score it for Mallory Pride. And the timeout going to be called a 30. We'll keep it here for Mishawaka Marian, but I'll let you wax poetic about a little basketball 101 here as we show you the replay. Why is it so difficult to rebound out of a zone?
I don't know. In my 35 years, I couldn't get it. They're not responsible for anybody, but they got to go find somebody. And Bedford's not very big, and Marian's not moving. It's like Bedford's awake here at 11, and Marian's kind of standing, hoping they get the ball. And that's a tough thing when you play this early in the morning, but if you advance to the state finals and things like that, or semi-state, you're going to play early games. But Marian's got to wake up because they should be getting those rebounds on the inside.
Today's game on ISC and Comcast 81, presented by the Hoosier Shooting Academy. Combine cutting-edge technology with old-school work ethic to make your game better at the Hoosier Shooting Academy. Go see Paul at 465 in Brookville Road and always online at HoosierShooting.net.
See, they got to get Foster the basketball or Alexander the basketball this possession. Stay out of those ball screens because they get trapped.
Like that flare action of Mishawaka Marian, a good shot that doesn't fall for Hirschberger. She is a 35% three-point shooter. Again, Bedford racing a player to that corner every time. They've not been making them. And it's going to be deemed that Spreen got a little leverage in going for that loose ball, and she is whistled for the first foul called on either side in this game.
Well, Bedford plays a box set against the zone, and they let Spreen roam the inside, trying to get the ball on the inside, and need more patience. That was too quick a shot that time.
Foster, great matchup between she and Norman.
Yeah, Norman has decided to just take her away. They're just going to try to take her completely out of the game.
I would imagine there are a few teams that can basically say, cat coverage, you guard that cat over there.
Yeah.
Here's the double on the help on the post, and Foster couldn't connect. Fight for the loose ball, touched last by Foster. Out of bounds to Bedford North Lawrence.
See, Foster has the strength over Norman, but Norman has the quickness, so Foster's going inside a couple times, and that has helped her. But it'll be interesting if Norman can play at that pace the whole game, knowing that she got to play here in a little bit.
The good news for the teams that get the 11 o'clock game, pretty back cut, and on the step back, shot is off. But again, like the action, there's another offensive rebound, but Pride couldn't hang on to it, and Bedford North Lawrence turns it over. But to finish the thought, the benefit of playing the first game is if you win it, you have the longest gap possible before the championship game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big plus today, too, because the second game, I think the teams are so close this year that rest may be the difference in the winner this year.
Noblesville and East Central. Our second game that follows this with 3 does not go, and that's going to be the second foul on Krista Porter, going for the loose ball. So I said first foul against both teams earlier. First foul against Bedford. Porter had one several minutes ago, so she will check out. Samantha Gruber will check in. 5'11" junior. Averages a point and a half and 3 rebounds a game. And in theory, when you play zone, you can oftentimes avoid foul trouble by doing that. Foster tried to shoot the gap, couldn't get it done.
See, that's where they want the ball, right there. They got the ball right where they want it. They just run Spreen, little cuts inside, high post, low post. That's her little 12-foot shot. She usually makes that one.
What sort of player do you see Spreen at the next level? Or she's just a junior. She got a year and a half left.
I think she's a 2-guard in Division I. I don't think she's a point, but I don't think she's big enough to play inside. She does for the high school team.
Deep 3 that was almost from 30.
I was a little surprised she shot that one.
May have been a little frustration factor, knowing that auction's been tough to come by with Norman in her jersey so far. BNL is a team their opponents are averaging only 35 points a game.
Well, BNL's defense is the difference right now. They pretty much shut Marian off.
Right idea. I think Bedford North Lawrence gets bailed out because that was off the leg of a Marian player. Really enjoying watching the movement that Bedford North Lawrence has in their offense.
They really do a good job. In fact, some of the offense they run is the same offense that Damon Bailey ran in the 90s. They've kept that same Bedford offense for 30 to 40 years. In fact, a coach named Sorrell back in the day is the one that kind of invented it. There's your cuts. Same cut Damon Bailey went off of in 1990. So they stay steady and they win.
Step through, and a foul going to be called. And that will go against Shayla Alexander. It'll be her first foul, and we'll see free throws for the first time as Chloe Spreen will shoot 2. Today's game presented by our friends at Visit Henry County and Hoops in Henry as Spreen connects. Take your shot at Henry County basketball destinations and so much more. Visit hoopsandhenry.com for trip planning ideas. Spreen makes them both. What I love about great scorers, they do not waste trips to the free throw line. She is an 81% free throw shooter.
So far, Bedford's had their way on both ends of the court, and they're able to rebound the ball, and they're just really active this morning. It's like Coach must have got them up really early because they're active. They have a purpose right now where Marian's just kind of floundering.
Spreen with the layup after Brown had the steal. Fourth Marian turnover. Foster weaving away through traffic. And quicker to the rebound was Bedford, and they've got a 4-on-2. Spreen, tough angle on that pass. Right idea, but tough to complete that one. Third Bedford giveaway, but there is little for Jeff Allen to be upset about given his team's 15-2 lead.
And you don't mind a turnover like that when they're looking for the open people, especially in a game where, you know, sometimes you want to show yourself off, and Bedford's showing they're a team, not just an individual. So a good pass, just didn't work out.
This is Alexander, 10 points a game. She'll try the three, and again, that barely grazes the rim.
See, they got Spreen guarding Alexander. They got Norman guarding Foster, so they're going against the best ones.
Offensive foul will be the call. Baseline official started to call the block. Outside official took charge of the whistle. Said it was Emma Brown who committed the infraction. Her first and team foul number 2. Clock is on your screen.
Yeah, we got 9 seconds here. They got to go. Foster's going to have to take it herself.
Hirschberger fires, shot blocked by Spreen, and what a display by Bedford North Lawrence in the opening 8 minutes. All over Mishawaka Marian. Stars lead at 15-2. We're back after this at the Raymond James Hall of Fame Classic here on ISC and Comcast 81. The defending state champions in Noblesville, led by Donna Buckley. Again, a Noblesville team that doesn't have Ashlyn Shade from a year ago, but they've been a very tough out. Look how well Bedford North Lawrence is playing. Noblesville beat them last week, so don't sleep on the Millers. They're the next game against East Central. And a turnover by Marian, their fifth. So if you're Marian, what was that conversation like in the huddle going into the second quarter?
I think sometimes you just have to try to wake him up, and I think he needs to worry more about getting them alive and getting them moving than worrying about his offense and defense right now. He's got them playing man, and I think that's a good idea because they were playing zone, standing there. At least everybody's responsible for someone.
Norman, 3, missed that one. And only the 1-3 made by Brown so far. Neither team knocking him down from distance. And this is a bit of a different shooting background to get used to. Now, Bedford North Lawrence plays their own sizable facility and plays a lot of great gyms of size in the Hoosier Hills Conference, but this place is rather large. No substitutions just yet for the Stars. Played their starting 5. Happened to follow the Star Cruiser, as it's known, on the way up State Road 3 today, as Bailey scores, and now all 5 Bedford starters are in the scoring column.
That time they ran everything to the left, reversed it right, had Bailey one-on-one on the backside, just like Damon was 30 years ago. He was able to go with her right hand and knock the shot down. A nice offense.
And by the way, let's point out, related to Damon,
right,
as in Madison, but not one of Damon's kids that have played and gone on to play college basketball after their days at BNL. Spot up 3, and that one seemingly slipped off the hands of Alexander. It kind of knuckled on her as it left. Here's a first substitution. Katie Baumgart will check in. Senior, 1.5 and a rebound and a half a game. Porter will check back in with 2 fouls for Marian.
That's just frustration now. You know, the Marians kind of got their head down a little bit, but they are trying to guard, and then maybe that'll get them going here. They just need to hit a couple shots.
Backdoor cut for Spreen. Good extra pass. 3 in the corner. Wouldn't go. And Marian tracks down the loose ball, and now Foster will elect to pull and fire for 3, and that does not go. And it's largely been one and done every time down. Norman, almost like a broken field running back, weaving through traffic and just couldn't get it to go. Foster, step through. May have picked up an extra pivot foot that time.
Bedford has the game at their speed right now.
Baumgart turns down the 2-point shot. Spreen does not. And again, shots aren't exactly falling right now for BNL either, but they are playing so well defensively. Yeah. I'm not sure that it matters.
Now they're making their defense become their offense. Like right there, they had really good shots at the goal, and they just missed. They haven't shot it very well in the last couple games, Coach said, so they got to start making them, especially if they play tonight.
They played Lake Central and Noblesville in their tournament last week. Much like BNL, 2 perennial powers. Foster lines one up off the back of the rim. Porter keeps the possession alive, and the jump ball is called. The arrow, like everything else, going the way of Bedford North Lawrence.
See, that's a problem right there. They have trouble rebounding the basketball against some teams. I know Zionsville, they had trouble, but Marion's going to talk to their girls again.
Full timeout going to be called by Marian. We'll keep it right here. Let's thank our buddy Anthony Bennett and the good folks at ADP. Did you know that ADP pays 1 in 6 Americans? Did you know that if you mention ISC, you can get the full range of ADP services free for 3 months? That's right, ISC and ADP have partnered to help your small business, and it's free for 3. Call Anthony Bennett at 317-427-8249 or email anthony.bennett@adp.com. Be sure to mention ISC. Again, you know this Bedford North Lawrence program so well. Forgive me, your first year at Jeff was what year?
1990.
All right, so you got there immediately after Damon had played. But what was it like to coach against Dan Bush and play in that building on an every other year basis in the Hoosier Hills Conference?
Well, it was an honor. It seemed like when they played at Jeff, we won, and when we played at Bedford, they won. And that was kind of the way it was. It was hard to win at Bedford. I know the year we won the state championship, we were averaging 84 and we scored 54, and we held them to 40, so we were lucky enough to win that basketball game. But Bedford has tradition. They have it in the boys and the girls, and you know, it's just part of, some towns have it and some towns don't, but Bedford's been around a long time as far as there's basketball. And I love going into the old Cutters gym.
Oh, yeah.
The old Cutters gym, because they have a lot of tradition there at Bedford, Indiana, in basketball.
That one called from the bench was going to be short, but a rebound and then steps as Pride kept waiting for somebody to get open and couldn't keep that foot planted. 5th Bedford North Lawrence turnover.
Well, you know, Marian, I was watching Coach Scott look at his card for offense, and he kept his card. Sometimes in the second quarter, if you have 2, there's nothing on the card. The card's empty. You know, the stuff hasn't worked.
Just 2 points for Bedford North Lawrence here in the quarter. That's still 2 more than Mishawaka Marian has. And this for Mishawaka Marian is, unfortunately, them reminiscent of a game earlier this year against South Bend, Washington, where they trailed 31-1 in that game. That is Trinity Bailey, a freshman, that couldn't get that to go. And Foster, right down Meridian, lays it up and in.
That was good. Foster, if you can't make the outside shots, you got to drive the ball to the basket. And there's, Bedford pushed the ball on a make and then still missed the shot.
And I think Foster at this juncture, and it'll be a blocking foul. I think no shot, foul against Spreen. And I understand that's going to be Spreen's second. But if you're Foster, anytime you get, again, I referenced oxygen earlier, you get any sort of space, I don't blame her. Let it fly at this point. And now a 30-second timeout is going to be called by Coach Allen and Bedford North Lawrence.
Well, the shooting hasn't been very good for either team right now, but there's been effort. And Marian here in the second quarter has had a lot more effort. They've played harder. They're going after more balls that are loose. They're getting more rebounds. And so, again, I think the game's going to pick up. I know it's a struggle, but that's what happens when it's 11 o'clock in the morning. Teams, especially over Christmas, they sleep in. The practices, there's no normal routine, and it's just a lot harder to get things going over the Christmas season.
And Mike Broughton with myself, Greg Rakestraw. Jane Schott will join us for the evening session. Mike and I are back together again tomorrow night. Pete Smith will join us tomorrow morning. Our 4 boys teams participating: Northwood, North Davies, Ben Davis, and Penn. And Noblesville and East Central and the girls await after this matchup.
As poor as Marian has shot it, really as poor as they played, you know, if they hit a 3, they're going to be down only 10. So they'd still be in the game if they could hit one shot.
You can get this to single digits by the time.
Come off it hard.
See, this is good patience by Marian. Instead of just rushing down, that's good that they have made these extra passes. A lot of good things will happen if you'll reverse the basketball.
Porter, great dig that time in the takeaway. That is Madison Bailey that got the steal. And then finds Trinity. So both teams just one field goal here in quarter number 2. Bailey right down the lane, and Pride does not miss that one.
Well, Pride missed the last one, but she made this one. She's having a really good game here so far, being real active on offense and defense as well. She's got the big girls on the inside. They have a couple a lot taller than her, and she's been able to handle them so far.
Bedford as a team shooting 45% from the floor on the season. So this shooting performance substandard by their lofty standards. And the runner by Hirschberger. Just kind of threw that up on the rim and hoped for the best, and it fell for her first basket. First player other than Foster to score. Pride on the drive and getting the bucket to go. Then is fouled on the putback attempt, and Mallory Pride will shoot 2.
Well, again, Pride's really active on the inside, and Marian going man-to-man has helped them because I think they're really bothering Bedford as far as on running some of their sets. But on the other end, Marian just needs to score. But like you said, you know, they get a couple threes, they'll be right back in it.
Lefty free throw is good for Mallory Pride. She is a 57% free throw shooter. Bedford as a team, 69% from the line. BNL pushes that lead back to 15, matching their largest. And Pride has 8, just about a point off her average on a per-game basis. Ball poked away by Spreen. Spreen, good decision. Norman turns down the 3, takes the 15-footer that does not go, and Alexander will track down the loose ball.
Now Marian needs patience. They need patience to get a good shot on balance this time down. There's 1:30 to go in the second quarter. It's not gone the way they want.
Foster's runner, got it, tough shot. So she's got 6.
Nice drive. Again, she's had 3 layups. All her outside shots she's missed. So that's good. They got themselves back into 13 points, only down 13.
Nice drive, and again, Pride's figured out if I sit on this left block, somebody's going to find me. She's got 10.
Well, Bedford is very unselfish today. I mean, they passed the ball. They're really got a lot of assists.
Foster, almost from Shenandoah High School, let that one go and couldn't connect.
I don't think that's really what they need at this time.
And Bailey, shot blocked, but guess who? There's Pride.
I think Pride, like you said, if she just stays there, she's going to be all tournament. Just stay on that left block. She's had a great half.
And Alexander was in a tough spot, put the ball on the floor trying to avoid the turnover, and let's hope she's all right. She appears to be fine. That foul on Porter, though, is her 3rd, so she will exit. Gruber will check into well, Porter will have to stay because they're going to get Alexander out of the game. And she kind of had just like an awkward stop, as you'll see here.
Yeah, didn't. She thought she hurt herself initially, and then I think once she got up and started moving around, she was okay. But last shot for Bedford, 25-8. Marian's in the zone again.
And you would assume that BNL will try to hold for one. And they have found their offensive groove here late in the quarter. Really went about 5 minutes with one basket. It did nothing to hurt their cause. Need to go now. Norman, a quick glance. Bailey has to go from the logo. Not that time. But Bedford North Lawrence, despite some offensive struggles, playing a stifling level of defense, and they lead Mishawaka Marian 25-8 at halftime of this girls semifinal. It is the Raymond James Hall of Fame Classic, and we're back after this on ISC at Comcast 81.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
The home of Hoosiers.
Where legends live.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
A giant field house.
And basketball courts in every park.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Family.
And friends.
And team.
And fans.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Memories.
And history.
And future.
And hope.
Basketball.
Lives.
Here.
Basketball lives here in Henry County, Indiana.
And we are back here at Newcastle. Greg Rakestraw, Mike Broughton with you on the ISC Sports Network and Comcast 81 as well. Bedford North Lawrence, a 25-8 lead over Mishawaka Marian. There's always some sort of contest or promotion that is going on at halftime of these games. The donut hole eating contest about to take place. I'm sure Mike and I have aged out of the demo for this. Our cardiologists have said, hey, don't do that. If we get the opportunity, maybe we'll in between games. All right, now let's talk about what we saw in half number one. And what we saw, Mike, was domination by Bedford North Lawrence.
Yeah, the defense was stifling from Marian. They didn't get very many good shots. Marian didn't have a whole lot of patience, and Bedford didn't shoot it very well, but on the defensive end, they just totally dominated, and that's why you just don't see good girls teams with 8 at a halftime.
Chloe Spring was 6. She averages 20. Carson Norman, 2. She averages 16. And that's for Bedford North Lawrence. The story has been the way they have shared the basketball, and the benefactor is Mallory Pride. She is their third leading scorer, averages 9 points a game. She has 12. Madison Bailey, 2. Emma Brown, 3. Katie Baumgart, Trinity Bailey both played briefly, but did not score. Again, very impressive half by Bedford North Lawrence.
Yeah, when you can have your 2 leading scorers score 8 points and a half, and you're up 17 points against a good team from the northern Indiana, then you know you're playing well defensively, and they're very unselfish as well, very unselfish.
Nevaeh Foster with 6, Aaliyah Hirschberger with 2. That's it. 6 players played for Mishawaka Marian, only 2 scored. What can the Knights do differently, Mike, in half number 2?
Well, I think they got to stay in their man-to-man defense for one, and I would start pressing Bedford a little bit and just get a little bit motivated. And I think they got to really look for Alexander, and they also have to look for Foster on drives to the basket. Give up the shots on the perimeter because they're 0 for 9 from 3. I wouldn't shoot many of those. For Bedford, I would just keep passing the ball to each other because even though they're 1 of 9 from 3-point, They're perfect at the free throw line. They've out-rebounded the Knights by 11, 24-13, and just keep guarding and you'll play tonight for the championship.
Had a look at the East Central Trojans on your screen. We'll see some highlights roll through here at halftime. While we'll do that, we'll give you some of the halftime stats. Bedford North Lawrence, 10 of 29 from the floor for 35%, just 1 of 9 from three-point range, and a perfect 4 of 4 from the free throw line. For Mishawaka Marian, they were 4 of 22 from the floor, 0 of 9 from three-point range. They did not attempt a field goal. Bedford North Lawrence out-rebounded Mishawaka Marian 24-13. 7 assists to 5 turnovers for Bedford North Lawrence, 0 assists to 9 turnovers for Mishawaka Marian. In terms of fouls, there were a few called, 2 against Chloe Spreen of Bedford North Lawrence, 3 against Krista Porter of Mishawaka Marian. There you see the Trojans of East Central. Again, they await the challenge of Noblesville coming up in the game that follows this one. We are now joined by Trip Lukemire from the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. Now that he has completed the donut challenge, not competed it, but helped make sure the contest went along, Trip, who is in charge of fundraising amongst other things in the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, joins us now. Good to see you, my friend.
I appreciate it.
You are very well coordinated in the colors of the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame today.
Well, I appreciate that. I learned from our former executive director, Chris May. He specifically always wore a very nice orange tie, and I'm just trying to have a little shout out to Chris and everything he was able to do for us.
All right, obviously the basketball is pretty self-evident that we will see today and tomorrow as well. What are some of the other things you're trying to do around that here with the Hall of Fame?
No, I appreciate you asking that. We at the Hall of Fame, as always, are here to preserve and honor the history of Indiana high school basketball here. And we really see the classic, the Raymond James Hall of Fame Classic, as a great way to merge not only what has happened in the history of Indiana basketball, as we will be honoring some of our 2022 honorees, including our inductees and silver anniversary team, but also we are going to honor our scholarship recipients as well. So kind of that next generation, not only on the court, but those are succeeding in the classroom as well. Not only that, but we want to give a location for us to honor that, and so we are happy to announce our Past and Present Forever campaign, which is a building expansion we will actually be launching here in the next couple of months to add 6,600 square feet to the existing to the existing museum of new interactive exhibit space. We'll do an event hosting space and really bring together some of that history and the present for the future.
I'm going to put your play-by-play skills to the test, knowing I'm the play-by-play guy of the two of us. It is a wonderful building you have. There's not a great deal of land that I can think of around it, so walk me through construction-wise how different the building is going to look going forward.
No, it's a great question there. So we will actually be expanding kind of on our back there. So we will be adding that exhibit space. We'll be adding not only administrative offices at the top, but in below, we will be adding kind of in our backyard to bring multiple different exhibits. We're still trying to determine exactly what that will be, if we're being honest with you. But we appreciate the support of not only Raymond James and what they're able to do with us here today, but our other sponsors, including Citizens State Bank and more to come.
The way that Henry County has embraced, obviously, the sport for a century, if not longer, but the Hall of Fame now going on its 4th decade of being just down the street on Trojan Lane next to the high school. Without the community support of Henry County, I guess what does that mean to you guys on a day-in, day-out basis?
Oh, it is tremendous to have a supporter such as Henry County in order to put on this building expansion and host something like this. And it's phenomenal to have so much history just in one county alone, not only with the Hoosier Gym that is here, but also many other aspects and willing to support us. So one of the biggest and pivotal gifts of this expansion campaign is actually a grant through Henry County to actually jumpstart this, as well as support from the Henry County Destination Development and multiple volunteers that allow us to operate on a day-to-day basis. So it is pivotal not only in our day-to-day operations, but also for the future in order to be here. And I would encourage anyone, if you love Indiana high school basketball, if you just love Hoosier hospitality in general, I would definitely recommend coming here to Henry County and visiting us at the museum and everyone else.
Before we let you go, a one-time donation is always appreciated. Planned giving is where it's at. How to donate to the Hoops Hall of Fame. What's the best way to go about doing so?
The best way to donate to us is to visit us online at hoopshall.com/support or contact myself or my team directly at 765 888-529-1891. Be more than happy to help you out there.
Trip, buddy, thank you very much. I know you got a busy couple of days. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Trip Lukemeyer from the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, kind enough to join us. We'll take this quick timeout. Third quarter action comes your way next. Bedford North Lawrence leads Mishawaka Marian 25-8. You're watching on ISC and Comcast 81.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
The home of Hoosiers.
Where legends live.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
A giant field house.
And basketball courts in every park.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Family.
And friends.
And team.
And fans.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Memories.
And history.
And future.
And hope.
Basketball.
Lives.
Here.
Basketball lives here in Henry County, Indiana.
I want to thank Jordan Shue and Alan Hughes from our ISC Sports Network team, making sure our signal gets to you on this Thursday morning. Greg Rakestraw, Mike Broughton with you. All Bedford North Lawrence in half number one, leading Mishawaka Marian by a score of 25-8. Good to see Alexander back on the issue at the end of the second quarter, and that may be the easiest look we've seen for Mishawaka Marian so far. Pride couldn't finish at the other end. And again, Foster will look to push, just trying to beat the defense down the floor. And Norman's saying with her step for step. Only points so far from Hirschberger and Foster. And Pride snares another rebound.
That's the best two possession Marion's had on offense. They really passed the ball to each other. Did a great job getting open looks.
Pride, the leading rebounder on the season for Bedford North Lawrence at just over 6. Spreen, tough jump shot. There's Pride. Did I mention she's a leading rebounder for Bedford North Lawrence?
Right now she's leading everything today. She's got half the points. She's got more than half of the rebounds, and so she's doing a great job out there. She's active.
She has a double-double with 15 minutes left to play.
You know what? That's a good start for the Hall of Fame tournament. She's open again. She just stays open.
And connects on this one.
You know what? She needs to give half her lunch away to everybody else after the game because they all passed her the ball. She's pretty much wide open on the inside there.
You referenced the way that Bedford North Lawrence shared the ball in the first half. That is now 8 assists on 11 field goals for the Stars. Porter got fouled. That's Pride. So Mallory Pride commits the foul, and we'll see Krista Porter go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Yeah, Mishawaka at halftime, when you look at the stats, they had 9 turnovers in the first half. So besides the 4 for 22 shooting, the 9 turnovers and no assist in the first half. So it's been a struggle for Coach Scott's team.
Today's game on ISC and Comcast 81 brought to us by Citizens State Bank. They've been serving Central Indiana with a full suite of banking products and services since 1873. To learn more, visit mycsbin.com or call them 888-529-5450. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So Porter makes 1 of 2. She averages 5 points and 8 rebounds a game. Great basket cut by Bailey. Porter with 3 fouls, couldn't do much about it. Bailey gets her second field goal.
Yeah, that's good That's good people movement that time. The young ladies moved quickly from one side to the other. And again, Norman, one of the best guards in the state, found the open player.
And a steal by Spreen. Spreen flying down the floor. Maybe got nudged a little bit that time. Again, right idea, but a tough pass. It's tough to complete that bounce pass there. And Foster at the other end scores it. Foster's got 10.
Yeah, Foster's got double figures, and she's pretty much the only one that scored. They only have 13, and you knew she had to have a big day to keep them in the game.
Well, she averages 27 of their 59 on a per-game basis. Spreen missed it.
I'll tell you what, I've never seen Bedford miss so many easy shots. This is probably the worst shooting in years I've seen them.
And they're leading by 16.
They're leading by 16, but they have not shot it at all. I know Coach Allen has to be kind of distraught because they're getting good looks.
Alexander misses. But again, if you play defense the way that they are, you can overcome that shooting.
Yeah. I think it's like I told him at halftime, I saw Coach Allen, I said, the goals are 11 foot, you guys have to adjust.
Well, a timeout called by Coach Allen and BNL. It's a full timeout. We'll take it with him. 5:02 to play, third quarter. BNL holding on to a 16-point lead. It's the Raymond James Hall of Fame Classic from Newcastle on ISC and Comcast 81.
Hi there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
And we do Query and Schultz on ISC Sports Network. And Derek, unlike Ted Lasso, we have a third season.
That's right. Season number 3 right now, ISCSportsNetwork.com. You can see episodes on Comcast 81 as well, Mondays at 7:30. I'm talking about our show, Jake, this beloved show that people tune into every single week. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, so many ways to watch Query and Schultz every Monday, 7:30. Tune in and hang out with us.
And you don't have to be a goldfish. You'll remember everything we say.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is good.
There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
Wrestler! Wrestler! Whoa!
Back at Newcastle. Greg Rakestraw, Mike Broughton with you. All Bedford North Lawrence so far. Again, Mishawaka Marian, compared to the first 12 minutes, have picked up the offensive pace. And again, Bedford North Lawrence has let them hang around because of some of their shooting woes, but not being seriously threatened just yet. It has been double digits from the end of the first quarter on. Foster can go in the backcourt to track that down.
They want to stay out of those ball screens. Bedford traps those ball screens. It takes the ball out of Foster's hands. And she's the one that needs it in her hands if they're going to win. This is a young lady that has to get going too. Alexander has to get some points on the board.
Jump ball, the arrow will keep it right here. For Bedford North Lawrence, this is their 16th game of the season. Of their games of note, they will actually play East Central in a regular season game coming up at the end of January. That ball and another jump ball, and Gruber could not get to that in time, and that will go down as a turnover against Mishawaka Marian. Also, Bedford North Lawrence has a big conference game coming up next week. Jennings County is the team that's been consistently the closest to them in the Hoosier Hills as of late.
Yeah, Coach Christie's lost the sectional by 1 point the last 2 years to Bedford. So they have a really good player in Woodard, and so it'll be a good game.
Spreen is trying to wait for the opening to develop. Nice drive and kick. 3 in the corner does not go. And then Bailey couldn't snag the rebound. O'Hara lets fire for 3, and that's kind of indicative of Mishawaka Marian shooting performance today.
I think you could take a picture of that and put it on Coach Scott's phone, and that is indicative of the way things have gone right there.
Now, I tried to engage Pete Smith in a rules of the game discussion about this when we had this in a boys game earlier this year. It's a possession arrow call. It's a jump ball, and the ball will go back to Mishawaka Marian. My thought has always been if you do that as the shooter, it should be automatically a turnover and the ball goes to the other team.
I think so, too.
Okay, good. You agree with me on that front.
I think so, too, because she shouldn't get stuck up there.
Often referred to as a wedgie when that thing gets put between the backboard and the rim.
You think Naismith thought that back in the day it should get stuck up there like that? Of course not.
Well, the wood had a little more give to it in the peach basket days. Hirschberger, no problem sticking that between the rim and backboard there. She stuck the jump shot. Her second made field goal. 14-point game. Spreen, no. Still struggling to shoot the basketball, but rebound by Pride. By the way, for Bedford North Lawrence, Tori Nykirk is in there for the first time. And now, if you're B&L, again, you can start to think about maybe extending your bench a little bit, try to save some legs for tonight.
Well, I don't know. It's a tough situation because you're not scoring the basketball. But they could have put Marian away in the first half, and then Spreen and Norman could have rest. And the starters could have had a lot of rest, but they're not going to have rest the way things are going right now.
It is Emma Brown that's getting a breather currently for the Stars.
In fact, really, it's Bailey and some of the other girls that have really played well.
Spreen got bumped, and go figure, she makes one and it gets waved off on the hand check.
You know, Spreen's got 6 and Bailey or Norman's got 2, so they got 8 out of 29. And you wouldn't have dreamed that starting this game that those two couldn't make double figures.
Spreen makes that one.
Now
see if that gets her going.
Figures.
Maybe that one that didn't count kind of took the lid off the jar. Alexander and misses that one. Nykirk will lead the break. Bailey waiting for 3. That one just barely grazed the rim from Norman. Foster, scoop, score, give it to her.
Wow, nice move by Foster that time. She wasn't going to pass that one, and I think that was probably best. She was taking it all the way to the basket.
So Foster will shoot just the 3rd free throw of this game for Mishawaka Marian. Missed that one. Foster on the season, 68% from the line. Ball knocked out of bounds by Alexander. Mishawaka Marian will back up into their zone defense.
I think the one that's got to get going is Norman here. So nice move by Norman.
You were saying?
Yeah, she's got to get going. If they're going to win tonight, she's got to play. And she struggled here today.
It's a Mishawaka Marian team that will play twice next week. Big game against Lake Central next Friday. Almost a travel. It was a turnover. Spreen takes the bump, gets the and one that time. No doubt about that one. Spreen with 10, and again, if she gets untracked, look out.
Yeah, Norman and Spreen see the ball going into the basket, and both of them, instead of taking a three-point shot or some shot they're not making, took it to the basket and got these layups and good-looking shots inside. And once you see it go in, if you're a good shooter, then you just feel better about yourself the rest of the day.
Spreen misses after she made her earlier 2 free throws.
Well, it's up to 18 now with under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, so one more spurt, and then I think Coach Allen can start subbing a little bit.
So Nykirk and Crane getting their first minutes of the game. Alexander gets her first bucket of the contest.
See, again, Marian going to the inside. They need to go into the inside because the outside shot's not working for them. They got to drive the ball to the basket and make the referees make a call. Bedford just needs to take their time, get a good shot. They're ahead, and they need to just get a good shot every time down, and they're going to play in the championship game tonight. Have patience.
Pride getting a respite here for Bedford North Lawrence. Spreen lines one up and knocks it down.
Well, I think Chloe making that one, now she thinks she's going to make a lot of them, and she probably will here at the end of the game.
She had 6 points until that moment where the and one wasn't counted. She's had 7 since then. Alexander, after making one, tries that one. Good job by Norman to tip that one away. Bailey turns, and gets the friendly bounce.
Wow. Bedford's hit more shots in the last 2 minutes than they hit for a quarter and a half. And have a nice little run going.
Foster pulls. That does not O'Crane, the uncontested rebound. And my friend, you are proving to be prophetic. One more spurt can put this one away. It's now 21 for Bedford North Lawrence.
Stand up.
They're going to hold for one now.
Yeah, that's a good move by Coach Allen. You're up 21. Get a little rest on offense. Get some reversal. And drive to the basket.
And take the foul, and there's your and one.
When they overload one side, Noblesville and East Central, when 4 on one side and 1's on the other side, you're going to have this isolation. Bedford's done it for about 30 years, and probably will do it for 30 more. They drive the ball to the right. You've got to force them back to your help, and they didn't do it, Marian.
Spreen just missed her last free throw and misses that one too, which is rare. But Spreen couldn't hang on to it. On the drive, scoop misses. Touched last by Norman. Now Trinity Bailey will check back in. We'll give Madison Bailey a breather. 6 seconds. 3 for Alexander. Not that time. Long rebound to Crane. Spreen are going to look from 50 and just missed it. 42-19. The outcome of this one seemingly is not in doubt going to the final stanza. We'll take this quick break as you're watching on ISC and Comcast 81.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Greg Regstra, Mike Brodden with you on the ISC Sports Network, Comcast 81 as well. We'll be there all day long today. And this is one of 3 events that we are broadcasting on ISC today. We are up at Kokomo as well for the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament. First game there, Warren Central survives and beats Guerin Catholic by a point. And we're also at the Paul Logan Memorial Classic at North Central. 3 girls games and 2 boys games taking place there today, including your beloved Jeffersonville Red Devils. By the way, Mike's coaching tentacle still all around the Jeffersonville program. 1 star coach is the boys team and Sharon Wilkerson. Other star coach is the girls team and Corey Norman.
Yeah, they call me every so often and they add up their records together. They use a kind of a buddy system here. They put it together. I think 16-6, coach. Okay, I said good.
3 does not go, missed by Carson Norman. She's a 36% three-point shooter. By the way, starting 5 now back on the floor for BNL. And again, you got to think this is, hey, a couple minutes, put the game away, and start to get some breathers for tonight's game.
Yeah, I think Norman's got to hit some shots before tonight. They got to get her isolated somehow. Let her go one-on-one and hit some baskets.
Foster fires, and that went off the shot clock that is above the backboard.
Come on, girls. Come on.
And if you're Mishawaka Marian, I'm not sure you talk much about this one. Just think about the next one at this point.
I don't think I'd say much about this one today. They really struggled shooting the basketball. Defensively, they've done a pretty good job, but see,
Norman,
there you go. See, they got to give Norman some easy shots this quarter so she'll have confidence for tonight. She hasn't hit an outside shot, so she needs to get to the goal.
Points in bunches for Spreen in the last quarter. She had 9 in the back half of the quarter. And the lead of 25 is the largest.
Part of Marian's problem, though, is Bedford's defense is really, really good. I mean, it's one of the best defenses in the state. You just don't get many easy looks when Bedford's on defense, man-to-man.
And we made a reference to the South Bend Washington game earlier. And South Bend Washington, the clear #1 team in the state. Bedford, a good chance to potentially see them, or maybe a Zionsville, Noblesville, Fishers in the 4A state championship. South Bend Washington beat Mishawaka Marian 76-29.
It was 30-1.
Yeah.
And, of course, South Bend has 3 or 4 Division I players.
Norman, great drive, just couldn't finish. And then a foul will be called against Bedford North Lawrence on the crash to the bucket. That'll be against Mallory Pride. Pride already a double-double. Her pace has slowed here in the second half, but did her job in the first half when it took Sprain and Norman a little while to get warmed up. Pride was next up. I'd say about 25 minutes between games. Those of you tuning in for maybe Noblesville and East Central. Gruber on the putback, missed that one. And then Pride fouled. The ball will revert back to BNL.
Pride right now, that's her 13th rebound for the game. So like you said, she's double-double. And, you know, you have to have these other players step up if your 2 main players, your 2 scorers struggle. And she did today.
Pride averaging 9 and 6. Tough pass to complete on that flare. BNL will turn it over. That is an 8th turnover for the Stars. And Alexander gets her second field goal for Mishawaka Marian. You referenced this earlier. This tournament replicates what a now semi-state format would be for each of these 2 teams.
Yeah, back in the day, it was for the state finals.
It was all 3. It was regional, semi-state, and the state championship.
It was the whole deal.
Pride able to catch the fastball, and then not from the left block but the right, puts it up and in.
I think she looked better over there, so that's where she needs to stand this quarter.
Lefties have a natural advantage. Just instinctively, defenders go to that right shoulder.
She's had a game to remember. The points are great. She's had a lot of people pass her the ball, and she's made some shots. But the 14 or 15 rebounds is fantastic, especially against Marian's size.
Yep. Back.
See, they can run their sets and then reverse, and here they come again off another set, and they have spacing.
Great crash by Pride. She's fouled again, and Mallory Pride will shoot 2. And if that's an Alexander, I think it is. She just fouled out.
Well, that's Pride's 14th rebound, and that's her 9th. That's her 9th offensive rebound, and a total of 14 for the game, along with having 16 points.
So as Pride shoots 2, let's thank our friends Corey Murphy and the good folks at Visit Henry County. Hoops in Henry County. Take your shot at Henry County. Basketball destinations and so much more. Visit hoopsinhenry.com for trip planning ideas. I would say we at ISC are indicative of the sports tourism opportunities you have in Henry County, because we are here for this event every year. We do the Hoosier Union All-Star Classic down the road in Knightstown every April. And in July, we did the Indiana State Little League Tournament that was also here in Newcastle. We have great partners like the folks at Visit Henry County, NLBC. Banked in 3 by Aaliyah Hirschberger. Hirschberger gets that one to go. Bedford North Lawrence has a pair of players awaiting to sub in. Bailey. Spreen. Got it. Well, whatever her shooting woes were, she has figured them out.
The 11-foot basket went back to 10 now, so she's made 4 or 5 shots in a row here.
Katie Godlewski will check in at the next stoppage in play for Bedford North Lawrence. Porter's shot does not go. Gruber's put back, also no good.
Rebound. Pride. Number 15.
Bailey. Left it short, and she is fouled. And Madison Bailey will get 1 plus the bonus.
You don't see many girls get 20 rebounds in a game. She just got to keep on going. Maybe they're taking her out.
She may be done for the day at this
that
juncture.
ended it. I said 15 rebounds, 17 points. Did a great job today, and I think she deserves a rest for tonight.
Well, BNL going to get their 14th win of the season. As Bailey connects, she's a 60% free throw shooter. And makes them both.
Night.
So Mishawaka Marian will play at 6 o'clock. Coming up this evening. BNL in the championship game to follow. Foster shot no, and Spreen will add a rebound as well and go 84 feet. Foster got some ball but got some arm. Now Chloe Spreen will have a chance to get to her average of 20.
That's one thing about Norman. She struggled offensively today, but she's got 4 assists. She hasn't turned the ball over, and she's the factor that's hurt Marian the most because she's been able to guard Foster, and Foster has really, really struggled, taking 20 shots, made 6, and Norman kind of just been a little bit quicker, and it's bothered Foster off the dribble.
After missing 2, Spreen makes the next 2. BNL number 4 in Class 4A. High arcing 3 does not go. Noblesville checks in at number 8 in our next game. Reverse layup, no. Foster comes out of there with it. Stepped through and just took off about 2 feet sooner than she should have on that opportunity. Ellie Tillett, by the way, Bella Jackson about to check in. Spreen gets the bucket. She's got 22. And the bench is about to officially empty for BNL.
Yep, it's 32-point lead right now, and I would empty them all out because you got to play. What is it, 8 o'clock tonight?
Yep.
And so you got the longest rest, you got the advantage, so you need to use it.
Hirschberger's shot does not go. Foster able to throw it off the leg of Godlewski that had just checked in. There's Ellie Tillett that will come into the game here as well. So Spreen done for the day. Bailey done for the morning. Carson Norman will have his seat. And again, 6 points for her, but her job was, as you so well stated, done on the defensive end. BNL beating their opponents by 28 points a game. And you look up and it's 32 right now. Foul going to be called, and Aaliyah Hirschberger will shoot 2. Here, Jeff Allen off to our right. Jeff played his college basketball for Ray Meyer at DePaul.
And his daughter's there.
Yep.
His daughter's playing at DePaul as well.
Solid women's program in the Big East.
Yep.
Hirschberger makes them both. Of course, his daughter, a former Indiana All-Star, as you well know.
Miss Basketball 2019.
Mike has those dates down cold in his tenure as the All-Star director.
As long as I don't get goofed up on the COVID year when we didn't play. So, yep.
Good motion, and shot missed by Bella Jackson. But you want to see your subs run the stuff and run it right, and BNL did in that scenario. Now Marion's going to empty their bench momentarily. Played just 6 in today's game. And Foster not even getting an easy shot against the subs. Hirschberger using all of the room in the gymnasium to arc that shot towards the bucket. Nykirk on the drive, no. Gruber comes up with the rebound. Foster will line it up, miss that one. And we will wrap up our coverage of this game in relatively short order at the conclusion of it. Give our crew a breather before we get to game number 2. Tillett misses from the left block. Foster with the left hand scores it. And a timeout going to be called here just to get subs into the game for Mishawaka Marian. For BNL, Haley Canada will check in. For Mishawaka Marian, Abelina Debris will check in. Madeline Goebbels will check in. Sydney McEntee into the contest. Also in for the first time. Another name here in a matter of moments. Tillett left it short. Turnover committed by Mishawaka Marian. Closing seconds of this one. Firing up a three and scoring. Bucket goes for Katie Godlewski. Of course, Kurt, former coach at Bedford North Lawrence, former coach at Butler University.
She can shoot it. Most of her shots are threes, and she's a good shooter.
And that is the end of this one. Again, dominated from Bedford North Lawrence from the start. They left in one quarter 15-2, never seriously threatened. Mike, your final thoughts on this one?
No, it was just too much defense for Bedford, and then in the second half, Chloe and them got going offensively, and Marian's got to regroup because they got to come back here and play at 6, and for Bedford, they got a shot to win the championship.
So, for Mishawaka Marian fans, your team will play at 6 o'clock against the loser of either East Central or Noblesville. For Bedford North Lawrence, I'd say 7:45 in that neighborhood for your championship game against either Noblesville or East Central. For Alan Hughes and Jordan Shue, and for Mike Broughton, this is Greg Rakestraw. Goodbye for now. I'd say we're back in the neighborhood about 12:40 for our next game between East Central and Noblesville. It comes your way next on ISC and Comcast 81.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
The home of Hoosiers.
Where legends live.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
a giant field house.
And basketball courts in every park.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Family.
And friends.
And team.
And fans.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Memories.
And history.
And future.
And hope.
Basketball
Lives.
Here.
Basketball lives here in Henry County, Indiana.
Hi there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
And we do Query and Schultz on ISC Sports Network. And Derek, unlike Ted Lasso, we have a third season.
That's right. Season number 3 right now, ISCSportsNetwork.com. You can see episodes on Comcast 81 as well, Mondays at 7:30. I'm talking about our show, Jake, this beloved show that people tune into every single week. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, so many ways to watch Query and Schultz every Monday, 7:30. Tune in and hang out with us.
And you don't have to be a goldfish. You'll remember everything we say.